Stand By Me, 1986 film directed by Rob Reiner, based on a novella written by Stephen King. A movie that over the years has become pretty much a staple of the coming of age genre. So the story takes place in Oregon in the 1950s and centers around a group of four boys. Gordy, the main character, is actually remembering the events years later and providing us with additional voiceover narration. So it's the middle of the summer, and the boys spend it hanging out with one another, mainly in their treehouse base. And one day, one of the kids overhears a conversation between his older brother and his friend, where they mention finding a corpse of a boy that has been missing for some time now. They left the body untouched on a riverbank outside of town. Now, Gordy and the rest are fascinated by the prospect of seeing an actual dead human being. So they tell their parents that they're going camping. They grab their tents and go on a journey along the train tracks to find the deceased boy. And as that is happening, the older brother shares this information with his gang of bullies, and those guys embark on a similar car trip towards the same destination. So the film comes up every single time in discussions about coming of age movies, and I can kind of see why. It does capture the nostalgia and sadness that comes with growing up and realizing that the fun of childhood has to inevitably end. And despite the fact that the setting is so wildly different than my own childhood, 1950s America on one side and 1990s Poland on the other, I guess some things really are universal because I was able to really relate to the boys. The banter between them, the constant insults hurled at one another, the ridiculous conversations, and just the feel of spending time with your mates. Hanging out and playing with no responsibilities inside. And then that feeling of nostalgia that the narration from years later provides, that look back into this time long gone from the perspective of an adult that knows and regrets that there's no coming back. So those were the two core things that worked in the film for me. The natural chemistry between the characters, the kid actors are all pretty good, and made me think of a more recent film, It, which coincidentally enough is also a Stephen King adaptation, and the narration from adult Gordy, especially in the last 10 minutes of the film. And especially as the voiceover can be really hit or miss depending on the movie. But I think here it really works. And apart from that, there's not much actually in the film. Granted, it's short and concise. There's not too many characters or subplots or things going on. And that's kind of the point. And, it was based on a short novella, so there's not much to go on. But there have been scenes and sections which were not particularly engaging for me. Perhaps it comes down to the fact that I can only relate to it so much. It is a movie which is very much ingrained in the American culture. So many of the, some of the things about it seemed quite foreign to me at the end of the day. But nonetheless, I never really felt sucked into the film. I wasn't transported into the world presented on screen, so to speak. And I don't think it's a bad film. Let's make this clear. I think it's all right, but just all right. Not great, not fantastic. And I do think that the movie as a whole is definitely improved by its ending, because without it, it just wouldn't tap into that nostalgia so much.